All right. Okay, we are back. We are trying this again. We are getting Alli Worthington on the phone. We're having some technical difficulties, you guys, and you were so patient and so just sweet to wait with me and try to work it out. We are working it out. So, it's going to take just a second. There's Ileana. Hey. Hey, guys. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you came back. I'm hoping it's not going to end up being me crying today. I'm just kidding. Hey, Jill, how are you? Okay, tell me where you're watching from. Tell me where you're watching from. I know where Ileana's watching from because in the fire they let me come stay with them. And they're, hey, tell me. So, are you experiencing this cold snap that the rest of the country is going through? Tell me if you are. Okay, I'm back on. Sorry. Napa. Debbie is awesome, you guys. Debbie is one of our Propel leaders. Hey, you're from Texas. Me too. Are you having cold? Bed? Oh my gosh, are you okay? San Pedro down in LA. Oh, where are you at, Jill? Let me know. Oops. Oh, thank you, Beth. That's so sweet from you. I think we're figuring it out. I think that we had a kind of a miscommunication with the phone, so we're working on it right now. No, just go ahead and tell her to join the broadcast. Or, oh wait, let's see. Okay. Okay. Oh, my phone just died or something.
Are you
serious? What the heck happened?
Oh gosh.
No, wait, where'd it go?
There you are.
There we go. Am I still alive? Okay, Alli, okay, we're gonna make this happen, you guys. It's gonna happen right now. 15. Okay. All right, so we got, yeah, Jill, we're from Texas, though. I'm from Texas, too. Hi, Sarah. Sarah's in Florida. Good morning, Crystal. Good morning, Sarah. Yeah, we're just having a little technical difficulty, so it looks like it's adding right now. Jessica, who was that, Jessica, that posted what you were doing? A comment? Sarah Wood, it says 15 minutes at 10:30, post slides on Facebook, new slide devotional prayer this month.
She says she can see you, but
oh,
can't
no.
join.
Ignore my notes for Propel on top. No problem. Okay. That should be allowed. Let's see. We're getting there, you guys. And it's so funny because I told her how easy it was, too. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so easy. It's not going to be a problem at all.
What was your favorite Christmas gift?
What was your favorite Christmas gift? Livy wants to know. Sorry, I know I saw an angry face. I'm not happy about the angry face either.
Who put up the angry face?
I don't know. It says you're watching, bring them on camera, and I'm adding you, and it's not, is it not adding? All right. Anyway, so we're going to see if we can work on that with Alli. I had some great questions for her about how she's been doing all of these awesome, she's launching a book called Fierce Faith. And I've been reading it. It's so good. And it's about how to overcome fear and wrestle with your worries. I can't remember the total tagline, but it opens up where she's dealing with fear and anxiety. And you guys know that's part of my story. So this book really spoke a lot to me. And the recent chapter I was reading was about fear over your kids and how they're doing. So I wanted to ask her about that. Like, how do you stay so vulnerable? It says connection failed with Alli. Okay. How does she maintain? I don't know if you guys read her other book, but it was called Breaking Busy. And it was about all the things that, you know, they keep us, our life stays so busy. Sometimes we're so busy that we're actually missing the important things in life. And it was all about how to stop that busy cycle. And anyway, so that's some of the questions I wanted to ask her. Maybe she could just chime in on words if it's not working. I'm not sure. I don't know, my tech support's here. Let's see, he's right here. Kneeling on the ground.
Just here, just me.
Trying to work it out. Okay, it says Alli Worthington's watching, bring them on camera. Add. So anyway, oh, that was old. Oh, hey, there she is.
Well, not yet. She's
No, I agree.
commented.
Yeah, it says, Julie, make sure Allie's phone is horizontal and not locked in the vertical mode. Yes, Rebecca, it's from my phone. Oh, no problem, Crystal. It's not a big deal. It says, here's my embarrassing story. Julie, Alli knows about me and tech stuff. We had a sound check for Propel Leadership webinar where hundreds of, I can't read the rest of entries tuned in. Oh, no. There she is. Hi.
I can't believe it.
I'm sorry.
You were so patient. Thank you.
I know. You're so sweet. Okay, yay.
I can hear my computer. Okay.
How's your morning going?
Other than tech difficulties, amazing.
Okay.
My kids are all still at home, so it's the last day of break, and my husband and I are over it. So, like,
Yes.
he's in his bedroom, I'm in my office, and it's every boy for themselves.
Every boy for we're at home too. Every boy for themselves. Okay, you guys, Alli has 5 boys. 5 boys, and you're the lone sole girl, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Do you have a girl pet? Oh,
yeah,
you have a dog.
the dog. Yeah.
Okay.
We
All
stick
right,
together.
that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Did you guys get to see a movie every day last week like you were trying to?
Almost every day. That everyone was healthy, we did. Yeah, I managed to see The Greatest Showman 3 times.
You did?
Because there was always one boy who hadn't seen it, so I wasn't that crazy lady saying, let's just go back again. So we saw it quite a bit. I love it. And we, my oldest sons and I went to go see All the Money in the World last night, which is, it's great. It's really intense. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, I haven't heard of that one. But I do want to go see
great.
this show. Like, after you said that about The Greatest Showman, I was like, I've got to go see that movie. So Alli does these she calls them completely useless, no spoiler movie reviews every time they go see a movie. It's my favorite movie review, to be honest with you. It's like really the only ones I read. So it's good. Well, let's get going because I know we're short on time. I want to honor your time and so would you take like 2 minutes and tell us about yourself? Tell us about you.
I'm, like you said, mom of 5 boys. My husband and I and all of our boys live outside of Nashville. And I'm the executive director of Propel Women. I'm a business coach and author of a couple of books.
A couple of books. She says like it's no big deal. Like, I'm just an author of a couple of books. But you guys, she's in the middle of a book launch. And if you've done a book launch, I know Beth is watching. She just had a book launch. It is so much work. And I can't believe that you took a few minutes to be here with us during your book launch. That's really special. And so really appreciate it. All right. And then live in Nashville. Are you guys having that that cold snap there in Nashville too?
Yeah, I'm freezing. So I have on a turtleneck and a sweater, and I have like a heating pad on my lap because my office is freezing. It is so cold. I don't want to go outside or do anything.
Oh my gosh. Is it like 10 degrees or something like that?
It's really, really cold.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Crystal says she can't wait to get your copy. I know, I'm so excited to get my copy of Fierce Faith too. I cannot wait. All right, I got a silly question for you.
Yeah.
When I was looking, now listen to this, you guys. I was looking for pictures of Alli on the internet. And
that's never a good thing.
and to use on our promo. And I came across this one picture. You guys had never seen a leg kick this high. So I was like, either she was a cheerleader or she pulled a hamstring during the photo shoot. So do you remember that? It's in the one where you're wearing, you like have these cute pink shoes on. Like, she's almost doing the splits, you guys. I am serious.
I can't take any credit for that photo. It was a photo shoot for a friend's camera bag company. And so like there was a stylist, there was, I mean, it was an outfit that I would have never put together. But yeah, I did used to be a cheerleader. So the leg kicks, they do still come in handy every once in a while.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh, you can take credit for that leg kick because that was crazy. You guys have to look it up. Google Alli Worthington. You'll find it. It's insane. It's like like almost vertical, like for real. I would probably split in half if I tried to do something like that. Well, Alli, tell us about your growing up. Who was your greatest influence when you were growing up?
That would have definitely been my mom. So I was an only child, and my mom and I just spent a ton of time together. So she was the person who, you know, set me down and gave me all the talks on life and beliefs. And I can remember different times throughout my life. She'd sit me down and say, we're going to talk about such and such, whether it's politics or faith or whatever it is. And I can remember these moments where she sat me down and told me how she felt and what she hoped I would believe one day. And it was really impactful. Definitely my mom.
It sounds like she's like super intentional about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or she just would like get a wild hair and be like, today we're talking about such and such. Yeah.
You're going to find out right now.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Because it's like sometimes it's so easy, I find, to just go throughout life, and then you know, we know so many things, or we experience so many things, and we never sometimes like intentionally talk about them to our kids. You know, like it takes effort and time to do that. And yeah, I'm sure you know that. I
have to remind myself to do that with my kids now, and that's one reason I love taking the older kids, especially, to movies, because on the drive home, it gives us a chance to talk about things like The Greatest Showman, for instance. There's so many, I don't want to, because no spoilers, I don't want to give anything away, but there's so many great teachable moments about failure and overcoming and trying again and family that we would just never think about if we weren't seeing movies together.
Yeah, and it gives you something to talk about, like you relate to. Well, no, here's a question for you. One thing I was thinking about is, like, now when people see you and they're like, Alli Worthington, executive director of a global organization, best-selling author, and all of these things. But I want to ask you, were there moments along the way, like, where you look back and I want to say kind of a proverbial, like, mopping the floor moment, you know, where you're kind of doing the things that, you know, you're doing, and now you can look back and see that God used that season to prepare you for where you are right now, because you know how they say that overnight success takes like 10 years, right? And, you know, and sometimes people can look at it and be like, wow, you know, you're in this amazing position and you're doing this amazing job, by the way. It's phenomenal. But what would you say were some of like the lessons leading up to that, where God used something in your life that you were doing before, and did you feel like it was important then to what you're doing now?
That's a really great question. I think with everything, professional experience takes time. But not only professional experience takes time, but character development takes time. So for me, you know, maybe 9 years ago, I wanted to write a book. 9 years ago, I wanted to do big things, but I didn't have the professional experience, but I definitely didn't have the character development. So for me, I always want to go faster than I'm meant to go. But I have to develop mastery and expertise in different areas professionally. Same thing character-wise. Sometimes there's great things I want to do, and I know that God is going to hold me back until He's built in a little more character development time, if that makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, you have to have a certain character to be able to handle, you know, I mean, I love how God says in His word that give somebody a little bit of fame and a little bit of success, and you'll find out really what's in their heart, you know. It's so dangerous.
I bet. And but God had to really...
I have to hold my phone. I'm like, am I even holding it steady, you guys? I don't even know. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
We'll put it right here. Okay.
You're good. There you go. I like it.
There we go. Now it's more steady.
One question I have for you that I want to ask you too is, when, you know, your first book, Breaking Busy, I was talking a little bit about that before you came on. You share about sort of the financial issues that you guys went through. And then your second book, Fierce Faith, that's coming out right now. You start off the book with this moment where you're dealing with the fear and anxiety. And I was sharing with the readers, you know, I used to have panic disorder and severe anxiety, like I couldn't leave the house. And so I can really identify with that, you know, but how do you find that courage? Was it hard for you to share those difficult moments, or how do you find the courage to keep sharing those vulnerable moments?
Well, I think because I have been writing and speaking so long, I've been at this almost 10 years now, I've developed a pretty thick skin. But what happened in the early days of sharing my stories on the internet is I realized I felt more comfortable being vulnerable here than I did with the other moms at school. So I kind of dipped my toes in the water of being who I really was. For some reason, it was easier to tell strangers, hey, we just came out of bankruptcy and lost our house, and now I'm figuring out how to do X, Y, and Z, than it was to tell the moms in the drop-off line at school. So I kind of slowly had to work into it. And for me now as an author, I feel like there's no reason to write a book unless I tell everyone the whole story, or as much of the details of the story as I can for my family. You know, there's always things that I'm never going to be able to tell because it's not my story to tell.
Yes.
But I mean, my husband's so great. When I was writing Breaking Busy, he said, "You're not going to tell everybody everything about us, are you?" And I said, well, I was going to, you know, talk about bankruptcy and being homeless and all that stuff. And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine, but not like personal details." And I said, "Oh, okay, great. Like I'm not sure what's more personal than that." So he's been really gracious to let me tell our stories, but I would rather risk being more vulnerable than not vulnerable enough. And I feel like if I launch a book to the world and I feel really uncomfortable about how much I've shared, then I'm just beginning to share as much of me as I should.
Wow, I love that so much. Have you ever heard that quote that says, like, right at the moment where you feel like you're walking down the street naked is probably you're in the right place, in the beginning place, you know, where you're beginning to feel embarrassed about it or whatever. Not embarrassed, but you know what I mean? Like vulnerable.
And the more I share, the more I learn that everyone has basically the same experience in life. You know, we're all walking around going, am I good enough? Am I doing a good enough job? Am I acceptable? Am I loved? These are things that are universal, no matter how successful we are. So when I put words to it, it allows everyone else to go, yes, that's exactly how I feel. Sometimes we just need somebody to say it.
That's so true. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And then speaking of success, that is a perfect topic because I also wanted to ask you about the Fierce Faith Summit. Can you, I mean, hopefully you'll tell a couple of minutes about it. But what she's done, you guys, is interview all of these people that we would look at as successes. You know what I mean? Like Christy Wright and Dale Partridge and Bianca Olthoff and Lara Casey and I don't know, Havilah Cunnington, all of these people, like amazing people that we love. And the question is, what I want to know, what I'm dying to know from reading that you did these interviews is, what did you find that was surprising about, like, did you find any common threads that were among these people that you were like, wow, I didn't know that this was a common thread of success or etc.?
Yeah, well, it's funny because everybody that I invited to be on the summits, 18 people, I'm all friends with, and I start the text to them asking them to be on it, like, don't worry, I'm not going to ask you your deepest, darkest fear. And then after they signed on, I was like, oh, I'm just kidding, I'm totally going to ask you. Like, that's what we're starting with.
That's the first question.
Yeah, nobody said I don't struggle with a fear. Like everyone said, because I would say, here's my biggie. What's your biggie? Like, let's go for it. Everybody has 2 or 3 things that they struggle with. I mean, everybody. So I was so blessed by the conversations. I thought it would be fun because it's people that I knew, but I didn't realize how much personally I would get out of it. Like I at one point I laughed so hard I just about fell off my chair. And I think a couple of different interviews, like me and the guests cry through the interview because it's just so amazing. But everybody really, really, really struggles with something. And we tend to not talk about our fears and our worries and anxieties. But when we start opening up and saying, here's mine, here's how I struggle with it, it takes the fear away from it. We work so hard to avoid talking about fear that we won't even call it fear normally. We'll say, I'm so stressed out about X, Y, and Z, or I'm worried about X, Y, and Z. When really it just comes down to fear. But when we start talking about it, we can uncover it, and it's not this big messy ball of emotions anymore. We can target it, and then we can begin to overcome it.
That's right. I love that. Somebody said, and I didn't see who it was, but I just saw it passing. Oh, Mata Laura Rizkala said, "Thanks for saying it. Brave begets brave." That's what all I
Yeah.
can read of the note, but I think that's what you're saying. It's like being
Absolutely.
brave.
Yeah. And when we don't avoid it and we talk about it, it loses its power over us.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants that, man? I want that in my life. I know, because doesn't it seem silly then? Like sometimes you'll be like, I'm like, one time I was having a panic attack at the grocery store, and I called Damien and I said, I feel like everybody in the grocery section is looking at me. And like once I said it out loud, I was like, that is the dumbest reason to have a panic attack ever. You know, it was so silly. Once I said it out loud, I was like, oh, that was really dumb.
Well, the way fear and anxiety and worry work is we have these triggers. Think about it like a light switch on a wall. And when the triggers get flipped, we immediately start behaving, or we start having the same thoughts over and over again. And what happens is it puts us in a negative down spiral. And so often it's really, really, really hard to get out of that down spiral. The trigger can be being in a public place and having a panic attack. It can be something as simple as looking on social media and all your friends are out to lunch and you weren't invited. Like the adult in us goes, that's great, my friends are all out at lunch. The forever 13-year-old in us goes, well, I wasn't invited to lunch. This sucks, right? The trigger can be anything. It can be a big thing. It can be a little thing. But we get power over it when we can say, this is what my trigger is. When I get triggered in this situation, I start the negative down spiral of emotions, and we have to develop a plan for how to stop it, to get ourselves out of it. That's the key. Because we get stuck and we just spiral more and more out of control, and the fear, anxiety, and worry can really just wreck our whole day.
Oh, it's so true. Do you guys find this to be true? Just talking to the readers and viewers on here, do you guys find this to be true? I find it to be so true in my own life. It's like we have to find that breaking point where we can like reset almost, you know. That's so true. And I want to honor your time. I know we started a little bit late, but I still want to like keep it to our time. But I just have a couple questions, last questions for you. My question for you is, 10 years ago, you think about where you were 10 years ago. You think about what were your fears, what were your challenges, what were your dreams and your hopes. And if you could speak to that person that was there 10 years ago, what would you say to them? You know, if you could see yourself 10 years ago, what would you say to yourself?
Well, 10 years ago, I think it was a really painful time in my life. I was pregnant with my youngest son. So I was blogging, had begun to stick my toes in the water of online business and platform building and all of that. But my husband had lost his job. We were living south of Nashville. Instead of him taking a job, you know, across the country like we normally did for his job, I was sure that you know, we were going to stay in Tennessee. This is where we were going to raise our family. And what happened in that period is we ended up losing our house. It was supposed to have a short sale, and then it foreclosed. So at this, which led to the bankruptcy. So this time in our lives, we were, you know, imagine being pregnant with your 5th child. There's not a new job. You're looking at losing your house. And for me, it was the wake-up call that I had been a stay-home mom for, I don't know how many years at that point. It seemed like forever. But that was the wake-up call for me, that I needed to figure out, like, what does it look like to build my own business? What does it look like to figure out how to leverage the internet to be able to start a business and to run a business and to be able to provide for the family? It was totally overwhelming. I remember I had $42 and I think I had like TypePad for Dummies, which I don't even know if TypePad is still a blogging platform. And I would stay up late every single night. And I would just Google how to do things. So I think I was so busy and so stressed at that part of my life, I didn't have time to even let myself feel the fear of what we were about to walk into, because my worst case scenario at that point is what was about to happen. That's why I love business coaching so much, because I get to walk people through the steps of what they need to do to start a business and be what I never had back then. So I think
Wow.
my encouragement to anybody facing that and anybody with a dream that they want to start their own business is I feel like with God and Google, we can pretty much take over the world. Like,
I love
don't
it.
be overwhelmed.
God and Google. Just
Yeah,
like this.
seriously. Like it's as women, we live in this special time in history where we can learn anything we want to learn. We can do anything we want to do. Like there are no
Yes.
gatekeepers. Like you don't have to have a
Yes.
big budget. You just have to keep going. And fear
Come on.
makes you want to stop progressing. Fear makes you want to stop learning. Fear makes you want to take yourself out of the game before you even get started. My encouragement is just to keep going and don't quit.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And it's like that, I don't know, it speaks to me so much because, we all have our own fears and
Yeah.
those things that we feel like God is calling us to, but maybe we're afraid of them. We're walking through fear about that. Is it really you, God? Like you put up on that post.
Yeah.
That seems like how it
What are you trying to say? I'm not sure.
Could you tell
Yeah.
me again? Okay, and what is something that you believe that most people don't believe, that you think most people don't believe?
What is something that I believe that I think most people don't believe?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's great. I think the power of forward motion. I think that there's so much power in just continually and keeping going and not quitting. People find great success in whatever it is they want in life because they simply don't quit. They don't give up. I believe inside nobody feels like they're qualified. No one feels like they're smart enough. No one
Wow.
feels, I think we've talked a lot about imposter syndrome. There's been a lot of books on it, but the more successful you get, the more this feeling pops into people's heads, especially women. Like eventually people are going to figure out that I don't know what I'm doing, that I'm a fraud,
Right.
that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's normal. If anybody feels like they are completely competent, like they have everything together, like they completely know what they're doing, then they're probably a narcissist, right?
That's probably true.
Seriously, nobody deep down inside feels like they have their act together, and that's normal. But if we take that as a sign that we should stop, then like I said, we take ourselves out of the game before we ever get to play. So the secret to everything is the power of forward motion and just keep going.
I love it. I think this is going to encourage so many people that are going to watch this and hear this. I mean, I don't know, it's just encouraging me so deep down inside. And I know that people are watching. Are you guys encouraged by what Alli's saying? Because I know I am. Just it lights me up, and I think that people are going to be so encouraged by that too. So, oh yay, awesome, yay, she's encouraged. Okay, so tell us how people can follow you. They can follow along Fierce Faith or Fierce Faith Summit. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so like you said, thank you so much. The Fierce Faith Summit starts a week from this week. I don't know what day it is. Is today Tuesday? It starts a week from yesterday. Okay. It's holiday. Y'all don't know, but I'm wearing my yoga pants on the bottom. It's, sweater on top, yoga pants on the bottom. I don't know I don't know who I am or what day it is. It's next
do you have
Monday.
Slippers on?
I do, and then wool socks underneath. It's very attractive.
Perfect.
Okay, Monday the 8th through Friday the 12th, and every day we're going to have a bunch of videos going live. It's all free, so I've been spending months interviewing friends.
Wow.
But fiercefaithsummit.com, and then you can find me at alliworthington.com.
Yes, and read her new book coming out, Fierce Faith. What's the tagline for the book?
A Woman's Guide to Fighting Fear, Wrestling Worry, and Overcoming Anxiety.
Yes, can you imagine? Guys, it's so good. Well, awesome. Thank you. I just want to honor you thank you for taking time in this busy time of your life to come and share your wisdom. And I mean, I feel so blessed, and I know our listeners are going to feel so blessed too. So thank you for all that you do. And when you go to the events and the Propel, the Propel events changed my life, and the videos, when people watch the videos, Alli is the one directing, the executive director of all these things that you're seeing put together. So if you've been touched by Propel, you've been touched by Alli. And that is an amazing thing. And it's people all around the world are being touched and blessed because of your faithfulness and willingness to serve. And so we just honor you for that. And thank you for all that you're doing in the world. You're changing the world.
Thank you. You're very sweet.
That. So anyway, well, I hope you have a very blessed day and stay warm if you can. Are you guys going to a movie today?
Not today, unless I can sweet talk my family into it. We'll see.
Yeah, you're a movie girl. Well, may your minds be fierce and your hearts be very strong and your spirit be so kind today. I will see you guys on Thursday at 8:30 for the next video. Talk to you later. Bye. Bye.